Okay, we are ready to put the last few stitches in this fellow. All right, now let's see, where do I want about the same distance, so it's going to be right about here. These are going to be short. They look like little faces. I don't know why I can manage on the left side to get a nice distance away, and I cannot seem to pull it off on the right side. That looks about right. So now these are nice and short because I'm not going a great distance with these. So I feel like the stem look, excuse me, is more prominent if you go, if your stitch area is longer. I'm going to finish this right down in the center. That's a little bit farther away than it should be, but if I was trying to keep these even, which I was, I'm not gonna lie to you, but that's okay, still looks good. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what I was thinking there. Oh, Lord. I don't know how that happened. Let's try that again. like it. Now all we have to do is give him an eye. And for a piece like this, you want a tiny little French knot eye, because if you do a large eye, it's not going to look right. So we will not be using 3 strands for sure. We'll actually separate this one down to just 1. Excuse me for one moment. I need to open up my studio door. I have the door closed, which means the wood stove heat doesn't reach in here, and it is chilly. Okay. Now, you could take some nice white floss or Valdani thread. The P4 would probably be nice. And create, little balls, French knots on this tree if you wanted to make him a little bit more festive. Let me show you how it would look. It would be cute, I think. But if you want to keep him primitive, I'd say skip that. Now let's see where we want his eye. I'm going to guess right here. Yep, right there. Tiny little French knot eye. Now I'm real picky with my eye placement, so that's why I left that pin in there. That looks right to me. Makes all the difference in the world where you put your eye. If it's askew, if it's not where it should be, I don't know. I mean, you could have it in several different places and it would work, but for me, it has to give them the right character. Okay, so now I'm talking a little bit too much. I need to talk about the French knot. You just come up from the back, and then you're going to simply wrap your thread once. With a French knot, you can wrap it around once, twice, maybe 3 times, but no more than that. But for this small eye, we want to keep it nice and tiny, so you just wrap it around your needle once, and then simply go back in right next to where you just came out. Put your thumb here. Go slow. And there you have it. Oh, that's perfect. Tiny little eye. And then knot on the back. Got a bunch of long threads, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about them because they're not going to show. All right, let me step back and stand up and look at him. I think he looks fantastic and quite like the drawing. Now you could add a little rusty bell here and that would look very nice. Or simply a nice cream colored French knot, or leave it as is, which if I did anything, I would add a tiny little rusty bell, but I don't think I have any. I think they're all gone, but if I do find one, I think I will put that there. I'm going to clean up a little bit of the fraying that's here and there. And if I had this to do over again, the only thing that I would change is I would change the color of the feet, because you just can't see them very well. So I would definitely make them be kind of, I think I was just going to say it'd be kind of fun to make them red, but that's me again, trying to add more whimsy when I'm doing my best to stay more primitive. So, which I like to let my pieces come to life as they should, as they are meant to. So I should really stop fighting my instincts to add a little bit more whimsy here and there, but I don't want to be all over the place with my pieces. I want it to be I want a certain style. And actually, I was paid a huge compliment from Tanya from Blackberry Primitives, and she said I have a primitive folky style. Primitive folky. I think that's what she said. Yes, and it just, it made my day. And I think that is exactly what they are. They're primitive, but they have a folky element to them. They're folksy as well as primitive, which was very, very touching. It just made my day, made my month, my year. Anyways, so if I was to change the feet, you could just simply change it to this color, which was the pear, same color as here. Or, well, no, because that's just a dark piece of the coat, and that, I think that's pretty close to each other, so that color wouldn't work. If you were going to change it, I would say do pear. If you wanted them to stand out more, you don't really need to. They are there, and if all someone has to really do is look a little closer to see them. All right, so let's discuss finishing. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not going to show you me stitching this into a pillow. I think that what I'm going to do, if finishing something involves sewing on the sewing machine or something like along those lines, I think I'll just explain it rather than show it. My first piece that I did with the Stitch With Me series, I did show how to finish that because it was just simply putting a back on and I sewed around it. This, all you are going to need to do is, you will take this piece at this point, clean up any, frayed areas that you might feel need cleaning up. Just, if you do any trimming, just be so very careful, because you could clip your threads and then you've got a whole mess on your hand. So just, you can trim anything that's sticking up, but I'd be very careful doing so. And the little bit of frayedness adds to the charm. Like I said, I always like my things to look like something from the Dickens era, and old, tattered, things like that, and that certainly would fit the bill. So then once you've got it, make sure everything is the way you want it to look. For example, a little tip for corners that you might find when you do the blanket stitch, if you have a corner that your threads aren't laying down the way you want them to, put French knots there, or simply go back in and take a new stitch and, let me see if I could show you. So if I wanted to make this corner lay down a little bit more, I would come up right inside it. I'm just going to let this go through because I don't have a knot in it, and then come out. Go down outside of it, and you see how that holds that down nicely? That's all you have to do to fix a corner that's not laying down the way you want it to. And now I can't seem to get my needle out of here. Well, what on earth? There we go. I guess I made that stitch and I didn't really even mean to. Okay, so then iron your piece. And the way I iron my wool applique pieces, or anything that has wool, I will take a towel or a cloth underneath, and then I will take a slightly damp towel, lay it on top, then take your hot iron and just simply press. You don't want to put your hot iron directly onto your wool because wool scorches very easily. So you want that towel there, and you just simply want to press. Just press long enough, 5 seconds or so that it just flattens everything, but don't press with too much pressure or you'll get the line marks in your wool. All right, so then when you're done ironing, you simply will take your backing piece. Let me use this piece. One moment. I have this piece that I started stitching previously, which I decided I didn't like this. I don't know if I left that in the video, but so I didn't finish him, but I actually could use this. But so you would want your right sides together, and in this case we're going to just pretend this is the right side and that isn't there. So you lift this up, lay your right sides together, pin, always pin. I would use my longer pins for this, but I would pin in the center. Just 2 or 3 times, and then maybe one up here, and like that in each corner. So a couple in the center, do those first, smooth it out, then lay some in the corners. Lay a few pins in one pin in each corner is what I'm trying to say. And then take it to the sewing machine. Sew all the sides. Sew 3 sides and somewhat into the bottom. So start here, go all the way around, leaving yourself a little bit of an edge. And then go about here and leave yourself about this much of an opening. And then turn it right side out and stuff. Easy peasy. It may end up being a little bit bigger than we spoke about, because remember we were going to have a finished 8-inch by 12-inch pillow. And if you find that you have, your piece, it has some frayed edges or unevenness, you can certainly trim it down. Or if you're really intent on having it be 8 by 12, 8 by 12, you could do that. But if you're okay with the size that this is right now, which I think it was 9 by 13 is what we started out with, because I always, make my pieces, it's 10 by 13. So this is going to be, my piece is going to be a little bit bigger pillow than what I originally planned. Originally it was going to be 8 by 12. So if you want 8 by 12, trim it down. If you want to leave it whatever its size is at this point, then feel free to leave it. Right sides together, sew all the way around your edges, leaving an opening. Turn it right side out and stuff it with whatever stuffing you prefer. I like to use wool roving or wool batting for stuffing my pillows. You could use a small pillow form if you had one. You could use rags or cotton batting, whatever you prefer. And then, of course, sew your opening up, which you'll just simply fold over the edge. Let me make sure. These are obviously, it's not facing the right way, but you'll just fold over your edge so that the 2 edges are nice and neat, and then just do stitch that right up, going back and forth with a whip stitch actually. All right, and that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed creating this folky old fellow with me, Olde Father Christmas. I have had a lovely time. As always, if you have any questions or need any help, feel free to leave a comment here on my YouTube channel below the video, or you can send me a message through my website. However you like. If you have any questions, I don't mind answering them, or if you need any help or anything at all, feel free to contact me. All right, and we will see you in December, and let's hope we have a snowy one. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you again. I just realized we have one last thing we didn't do, and that is add our stitch line for a mustache. We didn't put one on the pocket, but you know what? I'm not going to. I don't think that needs it, but he needs a little something right up here to give his beard and mustache a little bit more definition. And you might notice he's been ironed. He's all nice and flat. And I actually think I'm going to use this army green as a background for this pillow. So I will do that tomorrow, and hopefully am able to edit it into the videos for everyone. So I'm just going to, I have Summer Brown, Coats & Clark, just 2 strands here, and I'm just going to go in here. Oops, let me make sure that we are down close. I don't think it needs to be very, I think I'm just going to do a tiny little stem stitch. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I think it's going to work. And if it doesn't, I'll take it back out. I hope it's not going to be too dark and look bizarre, but I think it works. One tiny one more. One tiny stitch more, I'd say. I won't regret it. I think that works beautifully. Oh my gosh, I hope that I was on camera for that. Goodness me, you guys are going to give up on me. I think that works nicely. Boy, what a difference. I kept looking at him and thinking, something's not right with his face. And then I was rewatching the videos, editing everything, and making sure that everything was just right. And I came upon the part where I had mentioned that we were going to put a stitch line there and realized I never did. So I hope that works for you guys. Just another little stem stitch right there. I think it looks good. I hope you don't feel like it looks like an odd mouth. I like it. Okay, that's it for now. I will just edit this in.